So last week we spoke about technology and the different technologies we have out in the field. And one of them I neglected to talk about on purpose because I wanted to dedicate an entire episode towards it were smart keys. And are smart keys really smart or are they really stupid? So this is the biggest debate. We have this actually out in the field and we talk about this all of the time. But what I wanted to do was kind of discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly about smart keys. And when I say smart keys, I also mean smart cards also. For people that are asking what are smart keys, they're also known as proximity keys. These are keys that you can literally keep in your purse or in your pocket and walk up to a car and unlock it and start the vehicle. This happens because the car has basically little antennas that are in your your door handle, all throughout the car, in the trunk, all throughout on all sides. Honestly, most cars have on average of 20 antennas that are detecting or looking or searching for the signal that your key fob is emitting at all times. So for convenience, they say in 1997 or 98, Mercedes-Benz was the first car company to ever come out with smart key technology. A lot of people loved it, and for a valet, honestly, you can ask yourself, is it something that you love or something that you hate? And I'm going to give you the reasons why we love it, and then we'll also give you the reasons on why we hate it. Now, what's good about these smart keys, you could actually have a smart key. Let's say you're in a family and it's a husband and wife and even a teenager of 16, 17 years old. You can give this teenager their own separate key, and what's good about it, it adjusts your seat, it adjusts your steering wheel, your radio, your weather, climate control, but also if you have it, certain keys can actually limit how fast you can go. So if you have a teenage son, you can limit the car at 60 or 65 or 70 miles per hour, or in my case, 100 miles per hour. Just kidding. But these are smart key technologies and these are all embedded, but yet the father who has the same, his own personal key, all those limits are off. It adjusts the seats back a little bit further, the temperature, whatever they want it to. So that's some of the features on why smart keys are great. Another good thing about smart keys, they have a little blade inside. The blade separates out, and what you can do, and I don't even know if a lot of people understand this, you can use that blade to lock the glove box, which is actually valeting proof. So if you give the car over to a valet can no longer go into the glove box. You can also double lock your trunk so you can't get into a trunk unless you're in an SUV, and of course you can crawl over the back seats. But what's good about that, they call that valet mode, and then what you do, you give the opposite part, just the fob, to the valet, and he has full access to lock the door and unlock the door as well as starting the ignition. Now that's great, and that's actually good for securing things when you don't trust the valet or something like that, or the parking attendant, or if you go anywhere, if you're going somewhere to get your car serviced, it serves for the same purpose, but they still call it a valet key overall. So those are some of the good purposes for having smart keys. Now from a valet's perspective, a reason we love smart keys, they're actually easier to duplicate if we lose a key out in the field. The flip side is keys are very expensive. Whereas before you could get a blade key from anywhere from $60 to $130, $140, $50 at the max. The new keys today start at $135 and go up to several $1,000s, with the average being about $400. So those are extremely expensive, and the reason that happens are the dealers. The dealerships do that on purpose because it's now an additional revenue source to the dealership, and of course that's how they make money. So overall, we are not a fan of the smart key technology for that reason alone. Another bad part, let's talk about the smart cards. And the smart cards are very notorious. You used to see them on some Mazdas, even Mercedes, but currently today are on the new Mazda 3s, the $30,000 Tesla that comes out. Now what you're supposed to do, it's a card and you put it on the B pillar and you put it there and it's supposed to unlock the car. I don't like this because Tesla used to have the technology, as soon as you came within 2 feet of it, it would present the door handle. Now you have to put this card on the B pillar and technically wait like 3 seconds for it to unlock. I didn't know that in the beginning, and I was waving it and it wasn't picking up on it, so you have to literally press it against the B pillar for about 3 seconds and that unlocks the car. That adds 3 seconds that we didn't have to do. I know that sounds minor, but it's kind of a pain in your butt when you're rushing to go grab a car and you got to sit there now for 1, 2, 3 seconds for it to unlock. So it may seem stupid, but I don't like the smart card technology for that alone. Now, something else that they have I don't know if you realize this, but when it gets freezing cold outside, these key fobs don't work as well as they used to. Now consider this, if your battery is low and you put it inside of a box, a key box, a metal key box, and you're there for 3 hours, that's going to take the temperature of that key down to probably about 25 to 30 degrees. Therefore, it's not going to function. And we didn't learn this until a couple of years of like, what's going on? Is something going on with these key fobs? So now we know when we pick up a key, we either rub it like this in our hand or we blow on it. And that way it kind of warms up the internals. Either that or we have to put it extremely close to the ignition to start the car because the cars won't start. So if you have a car with smart car technology or a proximity key and the key is freezing cold, Google it, which we spoke about. You'll see a whole bunch of articles on how when voltage gets low or voltage gets cold, it gets low. If you ever look at your car battery, you'll see a number. Let's just say it's 800. It'll say 800 CCA. That means cold cranking amps. The way they test vehicles' batteries are in the cold. So the summertime, of course, the car is always going to start wonderfully. But in the cold weather, that's when you're really testing out technology. And this is what we're trying to see. So the batteries in the car remote act the same exact way. Now here's a logistical issue that we have. When we pull up a car and we have smart key technology compared to having a key in ignition, when a person leaves, we always get a call back, hey, where's our key? We can't find it. We always put the keys in a cup holder as much as possible. We used to put it in people's hands, but we don't know what they do with them. They could put it in their pocket, they could put it in an armrest, whatever, and then we always get a complaint. But now it's taught that we put the key in the cup holder and we tell the customer that the key's in the cup holder. But a lot of times the people may be tipsy and not remember. Also, the other problem with smart keys, they may flick that key out of the cup holder or turn fast and it falls over. If it's not on the cup holder and it's actually on the center console, then they're like, where did the key go? We've seen them slide under the seat, on top of the seat, different places before. We even had the story a little while ago about the Nissan Maxima, the filthy Nissan Maxima. I did not realize until after I posted that video about the Nissan Maxima that the key was found. My friend Adam, who works at the Nissan dealership here in Marietta, found the key under the floor mat. So the first dealership down south never looked under the floor mat to see if the key was there. Nobody looked under the floor mat. And that's where the key was the entire time. Now, of course, if we had a bladed key and it's in ignition, we wouldn't have had this problem at all. That's why I do not like these smart key technologies overall. Now, here's something most people don't know. If your battery does fail inside that remote, there is a way to bypass it and still start your car. And if you have a Mercedes, you have that little silver button. What you don't know is this. If you pull that little silver button out, you can put the key in and it's like a magnet and it'll start the car. So let's say you're trying to start the button and it doesn't work. Here it is going to work, obviously. And it works just fine, but let's cut it off. But let's say in this particular case that it doesn't work and you're trying to push the button, it doesn't work, and you have the remote here. So what do? A lot of people don't understand that if you can actually pull this button out, and if you look closely, you can see that this is an area where you can actually put the key in. It's magnetic and it turns. Now, I've spoken about the good and the bad of key technology. Now I'm going to tell you the worst. And the worst thing is called RSA. RSA is basically, it's called relay street attack. And basically what that is, they're cloning your frequency. So let's say this lady goes into Starbucks. She's standing in line at Starbucks and the key to her BMW is in her pocket, or to her Porsche is in her pocket or her purse. A gentleman can get this frequency cloning device for 20, 30 bucks off of eBay or whatever the case is, and he could stand within 5 feet of her. What you don't realize, the keys and the cars are both emitting signals and frequencies. The key is emitting a certain frequency and it's constantly rolling, which means it's never the same frequency twice. But if someone is able to grab that frequency and then re-deliver it closer to the car, the car is going to think the key fob is there and it's going to unlock it and start the car. So basically what's happening now, ladies in line at Starbucks, there's a gentleman standing behind her. Either he has a machine in his hand or he can put it inside of a briefcase and he's going to clone the device. Now he can now pass that signal on to the person that's standing next to the car and actually unlock the doors. If you watch it, you'll see it over and over again. And remember, years ago, I had a case where we had an Acura RDX that was stolen, and this is the exact way they did it. They went in front of the key box and they waited for the signal to be picked up. They picked it up and they re-delivered it to the person that was inside of the car while somebody else was distracting the valet at the front of the lot, and the valet didn't notice. So they were able to steal the keys, the key code frequency, start this car, and get away while the valet was undetected, while we still ultimately had the keys locked in our key box. Now there's different ways of putting aluminum foil there that blocks it and basically creating a Faraday cage, which prevents people from stealing codes like that. But the technology does exist, and it makes it even easier to clone these keys. So for me, overall, yes, I love smart keys. They're nice and everything like that. But overall, I don't think they're very smart at all, and they actually do us more injustice than anything. So what do you think about that? Do you think smart keys are smart, or are they actually really dumb? That was the good, the bad, and the ugly of smart keys. And overall, I hope you enjoyed it.